What's up, dear friends? Today I played a simul game against pro members of ChessMood family, and in this video I'm gonna make a cover trying to analyze all of the games. I would like to thank all of my opponents. That was very exciting simul session. Many interesting games have been played and interesting ideas from both sides were introduced. So let's start. This first game is against Nicky peso 96, knight f3, knight f6, g3, g6. It's the English variation. Right now, knight c6, takes, and queen a5 is a very popular move. It's a huge theory. Knight b3 here, c5, trying to limit black's queen side. a5, a4, d6, it's again a theory. I didn't remember much my analysis during the game, so I played takes and d4, bishop g4, f3, bishop b6, but I think black is already fine here. Bishop f4 maybe is not the best move. Takes and king h1 for sure is a mistake. I should have played g4. Here my opponent could have played d5, e5, d4, or what I prefer more, to play g5 first and after some bishop b3 play d5 immediately. So in the game I played king h1, knight e5 as happened. It's not a very good move because right now I could have played g4, but again I played knight d4 here. It's very complicated position, and in the simul game it's not very easy to calculate everything. Queen h4, bishop g3, queen h6, rook f2. I wasn't sure about this position, but I had a feeling that white is at least okay. But very complicated one. Queen e3 was a very sharp move. Some ideas are coming right now. I played knight b5, trying to keep all of my pieces defended. And here d5 was a dangerous option. My opponent played h5. I don't really like this move because I'm able to play g5 and queen g5 f4, knight d3. And right now rook d2. I'm not really sure how should black react here. I think it's already bad for black, and knight e8 is almost lost because here queen g5 and takes. Black has two pawns and rook for two pieces, but position is very bad. White have excellent pieces in the center, and right now I thought about attack on the king side, and maybe it was not the best decision, but I decided just to exchange queens because this position is easily lost. And f6 kind of bad move because it weakened kingside pawns, so after a5 is just nothing is left for black. Check and rook g1. So that's it. But this game was interesting, especially the middle game. Let's go to the next one. Against Slobodan 007. c5, g3, bishop g2. These positions are Tarrasch variations, very famous opening again. White is trying to play against isolated pawn, and black is trying to take control over the central squares. So knight d4, bishop c5, bishop b3, and right now it's not very simple to react for black. I would prefer bishop b7, because here after knight a4, white is kind of forcing black exchange on the d4, and there is like kind of a rule: when your opponent has isolated pawn, if you exchange couple of pieces, it starts hanging, and especially this bad bishop on e6 is left. So I wouldn't talk much after this because basically all the game was around this pawn. I just exchanged the rooks. I was trying to exchange the queen and hanging around, trying to reach some benefits. I played here b4 and trying to put my pawns on the dark squares, and they are kind of safe because my opponent's bishop is light squared bishop. So here I played f3, and my idea is bishop f1, so I'm trying to take all the squares from my opponent's knight. Queen c6, knight c8, bishop e8 is a good move because I blundered it at first. I thought I'm gonna take a pawn on a7. But this position is anyway unpleasant for black, and I here tried to trick my opponent because here after check he played bishop g6, but here after check he again played bishop g6 and bishop b5 was blundered, so this is already lost for black. I'm just pushing my pawns on the queen side. That's it, that's very simple. Just knight c5, exchanging the bishop, and here h5 is just winning because of knight f5. Let's go for the next game. Against Spirita, knight f4, c5, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, d5 is the same opening that in the previous game, so you already kind of know the white's ideas. I took, and here I took on c5 because bishop b7 has already been played. Knight c3, bishop b6, bishop f4, and this position is a little better for white because some initiative because of bishop on c5. Knight a4 takes. It's just slightly better, but I like this position to play for. Now knight d4 is tried. Knight takes, rook c1, b4 maybe not a very good move. I blundered bishop d7, but again it's very pleasant for white because knight d7 is kind of a strange move because usually you should try to bring your pieces into the center, and if after a4 knight on f7 is like kind of strange. Queen a3, and here I played h3, blundering my knight on d4 after queen h1, queen d4. Of course, it's like not terribly lost because queen c7 gives some chances to survive, but of course I'm losing my 2 pawns, so probably it's lost for white. And after knight b5, my opponent, I don't know honestly why my opponent played knight b5. Maybe he thought that after queen c7, knight on a7 will be hanging, so here's just lost, and queen c7, queen b3, and there is a mate after queen 8. So let's go for the next game, which one I lost. Knight f3, g3, bishop g2. It's another variation, relative variation. White is playing c4, and my idea is gonna be e4 and to play somewhere in the center. Queen b3, queen b6, queen c2. It's like a little trick trying to bring queen on b6, and after it there will be a tempo after bishop b3. Castle, knight c3. This position is a little pleasant for white. I think my mistake here was playing knight d4, and I should have taken queen b7 because it's a simul game and you are not really able to calculate everything. I didn't pay much attention to this move, but maybe after knight d4 it's already about equal. And queen b5 takes, knight d3, and here knight d5 is a bad move because I am leaving initiative to my opponent. Probably I should have played rook d2 and trying to keep my queen side safe at first, because anyway I'm going to take pawn on d5. So this can be a little pleasant for white because pawn on a7 is hanging, d5 is under attack, and rook ad1 is coming. So I played knight d5 takes, a6 is a very good move, and I think is maybe the only move to play for some advantage. Knight d4, knight b2, rook d2, and again very good move rook ad8, because otherwise after some knight a4, bishop b7 position is at least equal for white. Bishop b3, bishop b4 was a dangerous move here, but my opponent played knight d3, rook d1, knight c5. This was my hope, to spoil black's pawns on the king side, queen side, and try to hold the draw. But again, it was not that easy, and I just lost this endgame. But I am sure I had some drawing chances. That was the last game, by the way. And here, after g4 somewhere, I blundered takes, and king e5, and now black king is coming. So it would have been better for me to play at first some kind of bishop e3 or bishop f3 and try to meet king e5 with a check. Because after king e5, I don't really know how to react. And after bishop b3, bishop g5, bishop f2, bishop king f4. I thought it's gonna be lost, so my mistake was here playing g4. Otherwise, honestly, I'm not sure if this endgame is possible to make a draw or not. But at least white have good chances. I would think bishop f2 or bishop g1. Maybe bishop d4. So here I just lost king e3, check, bishop b4, and just d2. So after a check, king d3, d1 is unstoppable. Let's go for a next game. Against Harddickchess. Bishop g2, again another possibility of English defense, but it's like again the same opposite color Sicilian defense. So this idea of white is very logical, trying to push pawn on the king side. And this knight h5 move, honestly I'm not sure if it is a good one here, because right now playing bishop b6 without h6 gives white some chances to manipulate over g5 square. First I played bishop g5, trying to take force my opponent play f6 and bishop d2. And now queen b3, c6, and good move. I tried to play e4 because right now if I play c5, d5 would be played, and e4 now is also possible. It was complicated, but I suspect it's better than in the game, because right now I play d4 and my opponent plays c5. So it's already kind of unclear, but I think white is again better, because the pawn on b7 will be a huge weakness for a while, and I am controlling square on c6, square on d5, and also after he takes f6, e5, it's not very simple to react for black, because if knight takes or bishop takes, e4 would be eternal square for white pieces, and after g takes f5, black king is kind of weak. By the way, this game is my favorite one because the tactical options I got in the end were very exciting for me. So knight d5, h6, queen d1, knight f6. I was trying to exchange knight on f6 because knight on e7 is not really good for black, and here also, after bishop f6, knight h3 would be a tempo, h6 is hanging, and later f4, also complicated. Rook a3, interesting move, and trying to bring rook into the game. Knight h4, limiting this knight on e7. So check. If now bishop b6, I will take and take on f5. So queen h7, queen h5, takes, queen f8, f4. f4 was a very important move. I don't know if it's a good one, but from positional point of view, I'm limiting black bishop on c8 and also trying to open my rook. Rook g6, queen h5, takes, queen f6. And right now, that was very scary for me, because black queen is gonna go somewhere to the second line, I'm sorry. And my king is safe, g2 is protected, f2 and h2, but let's admit it's very unpleasant to have this kind of pieces attacking your king. So I played rook e1 with idea somewhere to exchange rook e2, queen d4, rook e3, because now king h1, after queen d3 I cannot play some rook e7, f1 is hanging. Rook e3, queen b2, rook e8. And here there was a very interesting move, bishop e6. Probably right now black would be kind of better, because I cannot take with the bishop, there is a mate from g2, and I have to take rook e6, takes, queen h5, rook g6, and it would be good for white, but it's not so very simple to react. There might be some kind of draws after queen g6, yeah, it's a draw I think, because after king here and black goes king f7, bishop b5, and bishop c1 and bishop takes b2. So, but there is also a g4 move trying to play for an advantage, some kind of unclear position. After rook e8, bishop d7, rook e7, bishop b5 has been played, and right now I had many options. Bishop h6 might be winning. I played bishop c1, because, you know, it's a simul game, you cannot calculate everything, but bishop c1 is also winning move. My idea was after queen d4, bishop b3, queen d3, play bishop h6. This is a little mistake, because rook h2 is possible. Of course, it's again winning for white. Takes, queen h2, and this position might be a mate somewhere, but there was a easier mate playing rook g7, and now there is no rook g7 because of queen h6 mate. And if king g7, check, king f6, check, king e5 here, and queen d6, very beautiful mate. This one was my favorite game because these tactics were very exciting for me. Okay, let's go on. Another one is against Johnny Turgi. Knight f3, d5, g3, f6. We already saw this opening creation before. And my favorite trick with queen b3. e4 was an interesting move. Right now knight e4 is not possible due to rook e1 and white is winning a piece. But bishop b4 was very complicated move. Just I thought I'm gonna be fine, because here at least I will have some ideas playing knight d2, knight c4, and there will be huge pressure on the queen side. I can either take two bishops or just try to keeping pressure with playing some rook d1, bishop f4, and I'm not sure about the evaluation of this position, but at least white has very good chances to obtain some advantage. So bishop g6 has been played, knight h4, and now it's not very simple for black because pieces are going to be hanging. Bishop h5, not a very good move in this position. Usually black is fine to give this bishop. And now knight f5, bishop b3, and h3. All black pieces are kind of stuck, and it's white is just gonna be pushing the pawns. Knight b5 not a very good move, because after queen e5 I have to play back. Queen c7, maybe there was a game better to play bishop g6. So queen c7, f4, h6, suspicious to me. Bishop b4, rook d1, bishop c5, king h2 is a good one. And here my opponent played knight e5. It could be a good option, but there is something wrong with that. Queen e5, and here I should have played knight f4, which is just keeping the piece on the board, and I would be totally fine. I'm just a piece up and very good pieces in the center. I played knight d6, queen e3, and here white is just slightly better because black has 2 pawns for an exchange and white king is kind of weak. Rook e8, rook d7. Knight g5 was a good move here, and it's very complicated position, to be honest. I think black should be fine. Queen e2 is a mistake because after rook f2, takes, pawns on the queen side are hanging, and after rook b8, this very important move because this rook defends the pawns, and after exchanging it, all the pawns are going to be hanging. So after king h7, rook e8, and rook h7, I'm taking the pawns, so my opponent resigned. Let's go to the next game. Against Vladimir Lucas. Knight c6, kind of strange move, because usually when white plays d4, this knight is not very well placed on the c6. Bishop f5, c4. This position is slightly better for white. So I was just trying to exchange other pieces and keep this knight on c6. Here black should have played knight e7 and with the idea to play c6, because right now it's possible. And here after some bishop b4, I played queen b5, rook b8 and queen c5. So right now I'm trying to prevent knight e7 and c6. After takes, rook a6, rook c1. So it's almost gonna be impossible for black to make this move. And already knight b4 was a kind of option here, but it's complicated. I'm just gonna push my pawns on the queen side. And this weakness on c7 and weak pawn on d5 would be enough for white to have a good advantage. After b5 takes, now c6 is bad because knight b4 can be played, and b6 is also terrible because pawn structure on the queen side is very weak and pawns are going to be hanging. Knight b4 and knight d6 is a little blunder because after knight d5, knight b5, knight b6 is coming, knight a3, and a little bit accurate move rook a2. So white is winning. My opponent resigned here. Let's go to the next one. Oh, the most painful game against Jay Zorak, and you will understand why. So painful. Knight c3, trying to play e4. Normal moves, and knight e8 is kind of suspicious to me because black already left some activity for white in the center. And after f5 here, it's not on time and not the right place to play f5, because after takes, rook d1, black has not really threat on the king side, and white is controlling all the central squares and the d line, d file. Queen e7, knight rook e1, knight f6, takes, bishop h6. I was just trying to exchange this good bishop and leave a weak one on the c8. e4. Game was kind of complicated from this part. Knight h4, f3. Not sure if it's the best one, but I was just trying to make some weaknesses for my opponent. Takes. Bishop g7. It's a correct move, and here after queen g7, queen c3. F takes e4. Maybe rook d6 should have been played. King h2. It's a normal move, but it's the beginning of the suicide. Because after bishop b6 and rook d6, rook e8, I was trying to save my pawns on the queen side, and I thought, okay, why not to limit this bishop on e6, playing b3, and my opponent immediately replied knight g4 when I resigned, so that's the reason it was the more painful game. Good game by black. So let's go on. This game is against Bank 2010. Very interesting game. It's Catalan variation. Queen c2, not very usual move. Some battle in the center. I thought it's a good sacrifice of a pawn, because right now I have option to play queen a4 and to make some pressure, but after queen a4, bishop b7, bishop c6, I totally blundered. Very good move, knight c5, takes. And here is black is just much better, because I have problems in the queen side, my pawns are weak. So knight a4 is the only move trying to hold around. Queen e2, takes, knight b6, rook a6. It's not the best move for black. I think maybe rook a d8 would be better, because I can force the exchange of queens, and because I have a weak king side and also queen side, so it would be much beneficial for black just to keep the queens on the board. And right now, after a4, rook a4, bishop f6, takes. My opponent offered me a draw. This game was very good by black. My opponent made a nice trick with knight c5, took my pawn, and I wouldn't really recommend to offer a draw in this kind of positions, even playing against a grandmaster, because after excellent play at middle game, you have a pawn up, and it would be very, I would say it's wrong to make a draw here, because at least white can never win here. That's the first part. And even if there was like some complicated position, you have a pawn up in the endgame, so just easily black can play bishop d4, put e5, or try to make some pressure on f2. My idea was here to play some rook c1 and rook c2 and try to hold this position. But whatever, a good game by black. Let's go on. Another one, a game against cheap hand. I'm sorry if I pronounce it kind of wrong. So let's go on. Knight f3 d6, g3, knight f6. c4, c6, knight c3, queen c2 trying to prevent e4 somewhere, b3, d5 is a suspicious move, because you know, black is not ready yet, king is in the center and black lost some tempos, d6, d5, and all the moves of white are good. I just developed my pieces trying to get some good spots in the center. So knight e5 takes and bishop f4, so white is winning a pawn. Bishop b6, takes. Maybe this one was not the best decision, playing e4 and taking a pawn, but it's even, anyway, it's good for white. Check. Here is not much to cover, honestly. Position is, it's not absolutely lost, it's holdable, because black has dark squares. And I was trying to turn on the light square policy, putting my king or my pieces on the light squares and making them kind of safe. Queen d1, d6, and here is a little bit tactical moment, because after d7, rook d8, queen h5 is coming, and if queen e1, then check, and black has to go somewhere to f8 or then, and there is a mate. So rook d8 right now is not possible, king h6, but that was my idea, to play rook c2 and here just winning a piece after rook c4. So black resign. Let's go on. Another game is again Blitz King 64. Oh, very interesting game, by the way, one of my favorites. d5. Again the same structures. Takes, rook e1, rook e8, and f6 have been played. Here I had some idea in my mind after bishop d2 to play d4, and knight d4 maybe would be better, but again, black placed pawn on f6 and is kind of limiting a bishop on g7. So after e takes d4, I had the idea to play knight f5, takes, and play knight d4. Right now, after bishop f7, bishop h5, I thought white might be slightly better, but it's around equal. f5 is a mistake, and I didn't see here knight f5, very simple move. But you know, when you're playing a simul game, it's very tough to take care of all the tactics in all the positions. So here, after white is just gonna be pawn up. c4 is not a good move. Knight e3, excellent move, was possible. My opponent played knight b6, c5, and from here it went very bad for white. Takes, bishop c3, c5, and black is much better here, because d3 is gonna be played, and two bishops on the king side are just killing. So many squares are under attack, my pawns are hanging. I decided to play a4, but bishop g5 was an option that allowed me to hold some equality, because the only point is I can play bishop g5, queen d2, because rook d7 isn't possible because of bishop c6. Again, bishop b2, and this position is very, I would say, very lost, because pawn on d3 is just annoying, and with step by step slowly improving position, black should be winning. Bishop a2 is a little bit suspicious to me, because it's weakening black's king, and rook c1 was a good option here, trying to activate my rook somewhere in the queen side with c7. Queen a1, because right now I have bishop b4, queen a2, queen f7, takes, bishop b4, d2, and I can play bishop d1. So right now rook 8 or rook c8, check, and bishop d2. Or rook 8, takes, rook d8, bishop b3, checking. Queen e6, bishop h6, bishop f8. And right now I was only thinking about the draw, because I thought, okay, my position is very bad. But here I had even a chance to play for a little advantage, because bishop f8 and rook f8 is bad after rook d4. I'm gonna take a pawn on d3, is not possible to defend, because after bishop c4, queen c3 will be played. And if rook c8, just playing somewhere like bishop b7 and bishop a6. After rook c7, bishop a6. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, because I missed bishop d5 move here. So rook d8 check. King f7 and bishop d5. Yeah, that would be better. Okay, so here I didn't see taking on f8, and I played rook b6, just trying to evaluate the position. King h8, and a5 was a good one here. I played queen a1, I think with good chances for a draw again, because here after a5, rook a1 is important move. If black allows white to play bishop c5 and bishop b6, like after some this move, this bishop will be very safe on b6. It's just locking the position, holding pawn on f2 and a5 at the same time. So here black might have good chances for a victory. And here I would suggest black playing like king g7, h4, h6, and try to play g5 somehow, maybe after rook a2, king f7, g5, and with good chances. King g8, my opponent picked up a wrong plan here, just going with the king to the queen side, because he is never gonna take on a5, because it would be lost. My king is closer to the pawns. And here a huge mistake, rook c4, because now I can play bishop b3 and bishop b6. We talked about this position already, and it's already it might be a draw. This bishop defends everything. But this was a very good game by black, and complicated one with good ideas. Playing knight b6, rook d2, bishop takes, and c5 was a good one. So let's go on. This game against Dazzler 25, knight f2, f6, bishop g2, queen b3. It's another variation for white in the Grunfeld. Taking is not a very good option, because it's already a little better for white because of better center. E4, taking the center again. Bishop h3. You know, I saw this idea very often, but I don't really like it for black, because right now black is losing 4 tempos, exchanging a bishop on g2, and at that time white obtained space in the center, well-developed pieces. So I think this might be a little bit better for white. I'm not sure about e5, but I was just trying to limit this bishop on g7. And here I decided to play queen b3. I knew even this is not a very good move, but I was trying to go for some safe positions. So it's an interesting endgame. Here I put a little trap for my opponent, because right now after knight c2 takes, bishop e5 and knight c3, bishop is hanging. So rook b5, rook d3, and might be equal. I think white is a little better. Here, rook c3, rook c4 is a good move. I'm trying to meet e5, playing knight c3, rook c7, d5. So, king h7, rook c7, and knight c3, because the rook is no longer on d5. d5, f5 is a very bad move, because e4 was only chance for black to try to hold the position. Anyway, it's a little bad. And now after f5, e4 takes, and king e3 is a good move, limiting all black pieces. It can look like very strange, but this position is about to be lost for black. Takes, rook c5, a6, and knight e4. So bishop f8 is not possible. King g8, d6, king f7, rook c6. My opponent resigned here. I wouldn't recommend to resign this position, but anyways, it's lost for sure. So that was a very solid game by black, and my opponent was playing very safe, but at some point with this f5 was a critical mistake, after which black is lost. So that's it, dear friends. We covered all of the games. Once again, thank to all of my opponents, and see you in another video.